Look, radios. This one is in a past video I did. I think, yeah, I recapped this one. And I think I showed this one in the same video later. So I have more. What started it is this absolutely beautiful Channel Master. So this is a Sanyo, and it was also sold under the Channel Master name. And this is a Sanyo that was also sold under the Sanyo name, model right here. And this is the Channel Master version, which was like an American company that I think sold like TV antennas and equipment, and they sold radios, pretty decent radios actually, to like repair techs to sell in their shops and stuff like that. I think I got that right. Anyway, I love this one. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Got a good weight to it. Oh yeah. And also in the last video, I showed this one. Hello. Which is another Sanyo. And I don't know what this Artonc brand is, but this is another one. I think it was sold under 6501 as the model for Channel Master. And then I don't remember the Sanyo name, but I think the Sanyo model number is the same as the Artonc, 6C8. Yes. So when I looked at this one, it was stone dead, and I said, I'll get to it when I get to it. Well, I recapped this one, got it all working, a lot of fun, and I got, maybe I'll take a look at this one and see. And one thing that I didn't check last time is I thought, maybe the little switches, because this has got a headphone, let's look at the thing here, speaker out, external speaker. And I thought, maybe this switch is just dirty, so I tried bypassing it, and it didn't do anything. What I didn't realize, or maybe I just wasn't thinking clearly, is earphone 1 and 2, external speaker. So this has multiple switches. This has a switch contact, this has a switch contact, this has a switch contact. So I cleaned this one up because it was open, fixed it, and this one was now open. And I don't know if we'll be able to see it here if I pull this out, but it is so corroded in here. Just look at all that green. And it's covered in a sleeve, so I'd have to take this whole thing apart to get in there. So what I ended up doing is just grabbing a clip lead. Yes, I know I'm out of focus. I ended up grabbing a clip lead and just bypassing all of this, going directly from the board to the speaker, and I got a very faint sound. Squealing on AM when you found a station. Perfect. That means the caps are bad. And so I recapped it. See these lovely capacitors? And the best part is I pulled these off of a junk board from a scrap VCR. Got a box of old circuit boards from any piece of electronics that I scrap. Because when I'm working on small stuff like this and I don't have the values in stock, or, it doesn't need it. It really doesn't need high performance capacitors inside it. These all tested perfect. It's a model from the mid-80s, a JVC that isn't from an era of bad capacitors, and these weren't capacitors in an area known to go bad, so I'm sure these will do just fine for many years. Anyway, there's more radios. I was given this one, a silver, and I don't remember what the problem with this one is. So we'll get back to that one. I might have bought this at a flea market. This is kind of cool. It's got a little leatherette case. It has a bad volume control. I don't know if I put batteries in this thing. No, I didn't. So this one, the volume control is very mute unless you go to maximum, and then it just goes loud. I can demonstrate that later. And then I don't remember what was with this one. Anyway, let's check out the best one, the 6518.
You listed rather than the scaffolding or shed, as you call it, outside your building. We're not. Block shed. Solar.ca. Tonight, a few clouds with fog patches developing, a low of -9.
disciples. And then see on their team now. It was Labor Day weekend, I was 17. Listen what
What's that? Oh,
calm down. Somebody put in my heart for lockdown, for lockdown.
So it does need an alignment. I haven't aligned FM and the band is all shifted up and you can tell it's got that sort of double hump. It's not tuning in very clear. I mean, understandable. It looks like someone's been in there messing with it over the years. In fact, let's take a look inside. So similar to this other Sanyo, you can either use a flat Phillips or just your fingers to unscrew this little thumb screw and then boop, pop the back. Oh, try that again. Pop the back and open it one-handed maybe. Yay! This one came with the sleeve for the batteries. Oh, and it was very crusty inside here. Look at these crusty photos. So crusty. So yeah, as you can see, it's all been recapped, which is pretty standard. These two had been replaced by someone else, but weirdly only these two. So of course it wasn't working correctly. FM was there, just very quiet, and AM also very quiet.
It's not something that they can be like
Just had a squealing. So started in the audio circuitry to get a nice loud FM and loud squealing in AM. And yeah, worked my way through. But I don't know why they only replaced those two. And those two tested fine there. They look fairly old. Like I would say those are probably 35, 40 years old. But yeah, they work. So one of the issues with it, actually, you'll be able to see my temporary fix. I have taped a shim to the back. So the little points where you mount this whole chassis, like see how this whole thing kind of moves like that. Let me flatten it like that. And then the same thing on this side with the volume. So it moves when you're using the thumb screws. There's a missing screw there. There's a missing screw down under the tuner there, and then up here. And that's because the standoffs those screws go in are broken, and there was some sort of black goopy glue along the top here that I guess someone had glued this board in that of course didn't hold, which would make it pretty difficult. I don't want to glue this board in anyway because I want it to be serviceable. So one solution I had, because if you look at it like this with the back off and you try and tune, this pushes all the way in. It makes it a little difficult. You see how much that's pushed in. So by having the shim, it kind of holds it in place. Unfortunately, the shim puts pressure on this plastic back, but it seems to hold okay. So I'm thinking of putting another shim to maybe rest against one of these transformers and then just sort of glue this on the back. Oh no, the label's there. No, I don't want to do that. I'll have to figure something out. Maybe I can put one against this one down here. I don't want it to be some sort of nasty. I want it to be removable if I want to actually maybe clean this up and glue new standoffs or nuts on there or something. Anyway, it does sound quite nice, even in the basement. Weirdly though, when I had this running on the power supply on the bench, it got way better reception.
really good. So I don't know if it's too much respect, but they're just losing to a good team.
And once I put it back in here, it kind of went, eh. So I think it's just an alignment that it needs. So let's look at this little guy. Pop the cover back on there. Japan. I really like these. They're kind of nice, and they got a good weight to them. I think this is from 1958, and that one was from 1961. And I don't remember the year I said that was from, but I'll put it here if I remember. So this one, unfortunately, while I got it working, the tuner is kind of stiff when it sits for a while. It's like there's grease inside that kind of dries out. You can kind of get it going again. There we go. See, now it moves. But it really sticks if you leave it sitting there for a while. And the speaker is damaged. I'm showing a photo of what it looks like, and I don't understand. There's no physical damage on the outside of this that could have caused that. The only thing I can think of is maybe moisture, like it was sitting on its side and it just the paper just sort of peeled down, or maybe it was damaged from the factory and it always sucked. But like here, you'll hear the speaker problems.
Well, we're missing Gustafson. I mean, Gustafson has put his time in the moose, and with what he's been doing.
So I'm used to for and beauty of what they are. So from an early age, I really admired taxidermy. Especially if you go to a museum, you see the beautiful taxidermy, and if you go to people's houses, you'll see like the big bear.
So I mean, it works. I like having them work, but I think this is more of a decorative shelf piece because, like, first off, let's listen to the difference. So we'll start with the 6501.
So you could do that, right?
Yeah.
Any commissioned work stand out for you that were...
We'll go to this guy.
I've done Bob Ross, and that was amazing. Probably one of my favorite. Mr. Rogers was really good. I had Taylor Swift.
Okay, wait a second. So does the little Mr. Rogers mouse have like a cardigan and slippers, or?
And he's in a chair and he's reading his book.
Yeah.
Chris Elliott owns Curious Collections and specializes in...
So yeah, this just sounds phenomenal compared to the others. I still have a soft spot for this guy, but I doubt I'll be using this one for much. I have a little Sony, that other one I showed, that kind of has a nicer sound to it. So yeah, let's move on to this guy that I've already taken out of the case. So it has a nice little leatherette case that's in remarkably good shape, actually. This actually came with a case, which I will show at the end of the video. The stitches are coming apart, the handle's falling off, so I don't know, might see if I can get it fixed up, because it's nice to have the original case for these. But it's a lot nicer than this one. This is like, this radio here kind of feels like one of those cheap dime store radios. And you'll notice my fantastic job there, a couple little J hooks off the caps that were cut out. That is because on the back side you'll see the tuners here. So to replace these capacitors, you have to take so much apart. You see those I did through hole, no problem. I think another one there. But these I just kind of looked and went, no, we're not doing it. I actually did one like that in this too that I didn't want to get behind. There was like a shield or something in there that was blocking me, and I just couldn't be arsed. Probably the same thing on this one. There's always like one or two that you just got to cut the old one off and sort of J-hook onto the legs that are there. Otherwise you'll risk damaging further stuff in there, and it's not worth it. Like, this will probably last just fine. It's not having to deal with vibrations and stuff like that. It's not winning any prizes. This is not a high-end rare Zenith or something like that. Look, it doesn't even ever... That screw isn't even retained. What is this? Look at this. Auritone. Prepare to be wowed by the high fidelity 2-inch speaker? Yeah, probably 2-inch. It's pretty small. Is it on already? Oh, it is.
If UNRWA's funding is reduced or eliminated. Richard Madden, CBC News, Washington. Like the Israel-Hamas conflict itself, today's ruling by the International Court of Justice is complex, with judges giving
So,
neither side exactly what they asked for.
it doesn't matter what the
Instead,
volume's set to. I can set it to max. That's max.
In addition to the more than $5 million awarded to Egypt Carol last year by a jury that concluded she was sexually abused by Trump in 1996 before he defamed her in 2022 before airing it to
Donahue said Israel must take actions to prevent acts of genocide and to improve the humanitarian situation.
In particular, the court further considers that Israel must ensure, with immediate effect, that its military forces do not commit any of the aforementioned acts.
The ICJ has no
Loud.
means to enforce the ruling.
Quiet.
But it can still carry symbolic weight and potentially cause
Loud.
problems internationally for Israel by increasing diplomatic isolation or
So, I mean, maybe that's a problem with the circuitry. I'm assuming it's a bad potentiometer. But I got it more for the looks because this just looks silly. Doesn't it look silly? Yeah. Oh, FM. Yeah, let's wow you guys with some FM.
Auritone tells us it was a move prompted by...
Pretty sure the FM worked in this. What? Really? Oh. I don't remember if it was dead when Well, it's been a few years since I looked at this, so I guess it doesn't have FM. I wonder if it's because the volume was really crappy that I just sort of shelved it. Wasn't worth digging into. I don't know. All right. Move that aside here. On to the silver. See, this is a nicer case. It's more well worn, but this is really cheap and like fake leatherette. This is a very nice feeling, probably still fake leather. I doubt this is real, but it feels nice. It's soft. And the only problem with it, it's very, very well worn. Like if you look at this, it's just beat to crap. But it looks cool. 6 transistor. I like the little style of the tuner there. Oh yeah, she's had a rough life. Made in Japan, as most of them were. Did I not? Oh, okay. I did not do anything in here. Like, at all. What? Maybe did I not? These are original. And weird, why would you just stack 2 capacitors like that? There's probably a technical reason. We've got, yeah, the 6 capacitors. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3. There's 6 transistors. That's just sitting. Feels like a tooth about to pop out. What? Sorry for the shakiness trying to look at this here. It looks like it's soldered to a wire and just sort of hanging there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so one of them isn't a transistor. It's fake. This gives me confidence. That's for the antenna. At least this is all there. Let's see what it does. Stone dead. So, however, this has similar headphone switches. So let me grab some contact cleaner and one of these little files, and let's just clean it up. See if that's the problem. Nope, contacts in this are good. Switch is closed, so yeah, this probably has other things wrong with it. Not hearing anything could be an open speaker, could be an open transformer, could be a wiring issue, could be something that's damaged. Who knows? On to the next one. Up next, there's 2. This one I already showed in a video, and I recently ran into its grosser, grimier cousin. So let's see how this one works, and then we'll see if this one works at all. I forgot these are odd compared to the others, that they take double A's. This phone really likes to go out of focus fast. Oh, I got a new phone, so you guys can let me know how good or bad this is compared to the old one. Still have the old one, I can still use it to film, so. Ready to go.
Hockey club just shot around a few pucks on Crescent Lake yesterday.
Dirty volume.
Down at every position. They've got stars. Mark Scheifele, Josh Morrissey, Kyle Connor.
Okay, let's look inside this. So yeah, side by side they look pretty much identical. This is a Foster speaker made in Korea. This is an unbranded one. Parts all look pretty much the same. Looks like a pretty simple, low spec unit. Oh, it just came to life. I was about to comment that it's stone dead, but then it just made sound for a second. Is there like a loose connection somewhere here? Yeah, it's just a bad volume. Let's get the contact cleaner on there. I think that ought to do it. Okay. Sing for me.
It's not good. That's enough of that. I don't want to talk about bottom feeders. You're making me talk about bottom feeders.
Everywhere. And then you nodded to this at the beginning of your comments. Could you speak to what was going on outside of Europe? Where was the unrest, do you think? Where was it most consequential on the global stage?
Of course it just works. These Japanese made, but later in the made in Japan, where they were just built down to a simple cost, like these are rock solid. This was from sort of an earlier era where they were trying to figure things out. The build quality, the soldering's not quite as refined, although I haven't really looked at the back side of this board. It could be crap too. But I mean, these are just like, these capacitors are, I'm assuming this is probably early 70s, maybe late 60s, probably early to mid 70s. So these are old caps, but these are new enough. Yeah, this got to be mid 70s. These are new enough to a time when they weren't those gray plastic shrouded ones that all went bad. Like these are working fine in both radios. I mean, this is tuning about as good as I would expect. How many transistors do we actually have? A lot of transistors, and they're in the new style package too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Okay, yeah. So probably said somewhere on here, maybe. Nope. But I mean, this is working about as good as I would expect. You know, a cheap little 6 transistor radio to work. Cool. All right. So out of all of these work. That one sort of works. Not great. And this guy, I don't know, I guess maybe future repair. Can't say I'm very driven to fix it, seeing the mess of that antenna. I hate dealing with loose, broken antennas, but at some point in the future, I will look at it. So here's the case, the nice little leatherette case, pretty worn out. 14 transistor channel master. It's got a nice speaker grill. And then flipping it around, so it's got this top that goes over these wild little antennas. This whole little plastic piece actually mounts on top of there. It's a weird little antenna holder. And why do they have two? Okay, I'm going to open this up because I'm confused here. This video is all over the place. These are the two FM antenna terminals that these antennas connect to. So you can see the white wires here, and the green wire goes up to that antenna there. and then they go to these. Now, I'm thinking it's got to just be that they just used some existing terminals that were probably used for like a tabletop AM radio, because you have A and E. So antenna and earth. For an AM radio, you have a long wire for the antenna, and then you tie the earth to the earth, the matching side of it, right? These are in a balanced antenna design. And the other thing is, I thought the whole point of having two antennas was to try and help with like noise immunity, specifically with color TV. Like if you notice, all the black and white TVs used to always just have like one antenna, and there was two for the color. And I don't know, maybe that's just a myth, I don't know. But it seems weird for FM to have two of these. Someone who knows a lot more about this stuff, please explain to me why these would be useful and anything more than just a cool looking gimmick. Because that's kind of what I think they are. I think it looks nicer without the case. The case is useful to protect it if you're taking it out and stuff, but I mean, this is a gorgeous radio without that case. Just the chrome on the front, it's quite beautiful. And you can see these worn out carrying handles all busted up. Stitching's kind of coming out, maybe not so much on this side. Oh yeah, this side it's definitely come out. That is the external AM antenna jack. On the back you got nothing. And on this side you got AM FM and your two jacks on the side. I believe how did that work again? One of them would mute the internal speaker, and one would provide an output and not mute the speaker. And the idea was that if you were recording from here to a cassette recorder, you could monitor what you're sending out to the cassette recorder at the same time. So you could listen to the radio here while having it output to the recorder. Sony TVs, the early Sony TVs in the 60s and I think even the early 70s, had the two headphone jacks with the 1 and 2. And I think 2 means both are on, the jack and the speaker, and 1 means only one is. Let's test that. So did I just lie to you? Was I lied to, or is this not working right?
Is that this is the year in which Vietnam withdraws after a 10-year occupation of Cambodia, which might not mean much for most people here in North America.
Nothing coming out of that speaker.
Really did signal a fundamental shift that was premised on a reconciliation of sorts between the people.
Nothing coming out of the speaker.
And the United States, who ended up through the 1980s in the most bizarre.
They're both doing the same thing.
Two fundamental.
I don't understand it. The only reason those two exist that way then is so that you can listen with a friend, like the original Walkman. Because I swear to you, and I thought for years that those two jacks on the front of Sony TVs and on these radios were like one would mute, one wouldn't. I swear I thought that was the case, and it's not. It's not. They both mute the speaker. All right, I have more questions for you guys to answer. Was I out to lunch? Maybe do the TVs operate differently than this, even though they're labeled roughly the same? I don't know. Yeah, FM definitely needs some work. I'll have to do an alignment on this later, but I'm still very happy with it. I like taking these radios around and listening to the radio, listening to radio shows while I'm doing stuff around the house, and this one is going to be my new favorite, alongside a GE that I want to show off in another video once I get around to it. But yeah, I don't know, I just wanted to show some radios, and thank you for watching this. Looks like a very simple circuit in here. Is that reflection making the... Is that my screen dimming, or is that the whole thing? This camera software seems a little stupid.